Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new video, and this one is a flip-through video. This is a full look at day 2 in New Mexico, which was all Santa Fe. So that's what you're going to see here today. I'm going to start off on this side. The first thing we did was head out to a bookstore slash coffee shop. And let me tell you, books and coffee are two of my favorite things in the world. And if you combine them, you bet I'll be there. So we found this bookstore in town, so we went in there to look around, get a cup of coffee, and I was able to use a page protector style that I don't use a ton. I do like it, I just didn't have many, and now that I've ordered some more, I can get more experience with them. So I like that it has the 3x8 pocket and the two 3x4s over here. And this is actually a bookmark that they were giving out. If you bought anything, you got a bookmark. So I picked that up and decided to use that piece of memorabilia on my page. And then the other side, this is still inside the same building. This is in the coffee shop area, and they had it decorated for Christmas. So I took a couple of pictures, and then luckily I had a 3x8 card. A friend of mine gave me a set of ones that are holiday themed, and so I just pulled out this one since it had red stars. It kind of matched the decor here. And then this was a digital element, so I just printed it, fussy cut it out, slapped it on there, and I loved it because it actually says bookstore. After we were done there, we knew that the winter Spanish market was happening, and we heard there was vendors, but we really didn't know like what exactly are they selling. Is it just like little crafts? Is it big art items? What is it? So we went in there to look around so you can kind of just see the decorations. They had a tree up as well. This was a cabinet that someone had made by hand, a wood cabinet, and then painted, and all these beautiful designs. But a lot of it, I should say, was the same stuff, like a lot of Spanish influenced crosses, little trinket boxes. I mean, like, there was nothing there, sadly, that really blew my socks off, so I didn't end up buying anything. But it was a good experience just to walk through and see what it was about. After that, we were close to a chili store, and so we thought, okay, we're gonna go in there because I buy ingredients at a local place so that my husband can make salsa, and just because I like having a Mexican grocery near me, so I have gone in there. Well, we found out this was a chili shop in Santa Fe, so we thought, all right, let's go in there and see if we can find some, powdered chili that's been ground down, or roasted chilies, or what do they have? So we went in there and looked around. I didn't actually buy anything in here. Wait, did I? No, I don't think I did. But my friend did. So you can kind of see like some of the things that they had on offer. And for this layout, because I had all of these 2x2s, I just really carefully chose my photos, knowing that there would be things I could highlight. So that worked out well. And then for the rest of the embellishing stuff, I had this little wood sticker. So I guess technically I did buy something in there. I bought that. I didn't buy any of the chili products though. But I bought that so I could use it on the page. And then I had a set of stickers that were all like tacos and chilies and things like that from Pipsticks. And so I was able to use some of those here. And then we were just walking down kind of the central area, like not too far off the plaza. And we came across this on one of the walls. And it was just such a cool piece of art that I wanted to showcase it. So I left it as a 4x6 photo. And then I just used some washi. I had this piece of ephemera. It was a little bit wider the way it printed out, but I cut it down to make sure it would fit there. And then I just journaled on a label. And in between these layouts, this one and the next one, I wanted to include a map, but I wasn't quite sure how to do it. The way I settled to do it on this one was to actually like take it out of the brochure and then cut it in half. And here that works really well. And if you actually just go like this, basically you're getting the whole map, which is kind of nice. I have other things in here where I decided to actually just put the whole thing in and leave it intact. But for this, I just wanted it split because then I could also go on to the next and have a layout on the back side here. And this was just a nice building around town that was decorated for Christmas. So I decided to put it in my album, and I had these fun stickers. These are also from Pipsticks, but I had these fun ones that were llamas with presents, and then like the cactus is decorated for Christmas, and it was very holiday themed. So I thought it was just very, very fun and whimsical. So again, we were just walking around town, but we knew there was a place called Burro Alley. And so we thought, okay, we'll try to figure out where that is, and maybe there'll be something fun there. And sure enough, there actually was a bureau there. Nice little sculpture thing. So we took pictures of that. And then I found more art on the walls. This was a beautiful mosaic piece that was there. So I wanted to showcase that as well. And then having this paper as an option was fun because it's very Southwestern themed and the colors worked with what I was doing here. Or just walking around the central area. I had beautiful buildings. This is a theater, like fine arts type building. And I loved the extra detailing on the building, so I had to put that in there. And then I just got lucky that I had purchased a set of digital cards that were specific to New Mexico. I just got lucky that they had this card in there because the buildings actually look like that. And so I was able to use it, and it matches. And I just found this little piece of ephemera that says, just doing what we love. And that is what we love. We love to explore a city, and just wander around the streets is totally fine. In fact, it's encouraged because you never know what you'll find. And then just to kind of top it off, I decided to do a little stamping there just because the top looked really blank, really empty with just this in the bottom half. So I think this helped that problem quite a bit. And as we were making our way kind of to the other side of the main area, we wanted to make a stop at the Cathedral Basilica of St. Francis of Assisi. That's a lot. Basically, the people around there just say Cathedral Basilica, and that's it. They assume, like, you know what they mean. But they had these brochures, so I decided to keep it intact, and the whole thing is available here. And it has some interesting history, plus the layout and what everything means, and I found that really interesting. So I wanted to keep that so I can refer to it whenever I want. And then this is good to point out. There's a thing that says outside the Cathedral Basilica. There is an outside, like a mini park area. If you're standing looking at the cathedral, it's to the left. And there are a couple of statues out there, and then a central area with like a statue fountain thing. So all of that is explained in here, so I thought that was great to keep it. And then I did get a lovely picture of the front of the building. Turned out very well. So I wanted to be able to enlarge that, and I decided to go very big, and I just kept it as a full 6x8. Used a couple pieces of ephemera, some brown enamel dots to match, and called it good. So we did have time to actually go in the basilica, so I do have pictures of that as well. And again, because this was a large 6x8 photo and quite busy, I didn't want to put a bunch of stuff on it, so I just did one sticker. This is from Everyday Explorers, and then this was just a piece of ephemera, a cutout die cut heart I got from somewhere. I don't remember where, so I can't be sure, but it was in my stash of things that were all hearts, and I was trying to match to this color over here, and I think I did pretty well there. And then here's another one of those split page protectors, 3x8 into 3x4s. Luckily, I already had a card printed out that had blues that would work with this, so I did a little stamping, I did some ink splattering there. That's it. Then we're on to this page. This is one of my favorites, and I think it's because it's so bright and colorful. I just love it. So again, we're still in the Cathedral Basilica here, but we were able to see the sun was coming in and hitting the stained glass, and look at that. I love that. So I made sure to get a photo, wanted that in here, and then I had this in my stash. Pretty lucky, I think, that it had colors that would work and it matched really well. So I just decided to pull in that kind of aqua on a blank label. Did stamping there and up here on these. So quite a bit of stamping actually here. That was easy. And then I had this that I had picked up, and it's kind of, my intent originally was like, maybe I'll use it as a bookmark or something, but then I decided it's too pretty for that and it needed to be in the album, so I included it here. And these are more shots from inside the basilica, and with the shape of these, I thought they would fit square 4x4s very well, so that's why I chose to print them. But because of how ornate they are and all of these different colors, I decided it would kind of make them more grounded if I did a white border. So that's why I made that choice here. And then the same with these. I don't think these were as busy and like distracting in terms of like lots of colors as the other photos were. But you know what? If they're gonna go back to back, then I might as well put the white border on these as well. So I chose to do that. When we were done there, it was time for lunch. And Robin, my friend that I was with, used to live there in Albuquerque anyway and go to Santa Fe. And she had a bunch of food places that she wanted us to try. And Tia Sophia's was one of them. So we went in here. You can kind of see, I chose a very simple lunch. I wasn't like super hungry when we went in there. I'm not a big breakfast person, generally speaking, either. And I think this was kind of earlier. I think it was maybe like 11:30. And since we hadn't had anything other than coffee, we're like, oh, okay, we're kind of at a stopping point. We'll have lunch here. So you can kind of see how it was decorated, which I liked. And then I had 2x2 pockets again to fill. So I was just careful with how I selected my photos. And then these two pieces of ephemera were ready to go as is. Didn't have to really do anything except slap them on paper. This I did have as blank originally, and I stamped out to eat on there. After our meal, we definitely needed to walk around again. So we're just meandering through the streets, and we found some fun things. Like there was this metal sculpture of this bull. I thought that was fun. So I actually put it across 2 pockets since it was a horizontal photo. And then this was just another kind of central area in between some buildings. And it's kind of hard to see on here, but these are fish coming up as if like they're on the surface of the water. So that's what they are. And then they had chili decorations hanging up. And I just thought it felt very Southwest to me. And so I wanted to put that in there. And then just some more miscellaneous shots around town. And then I had this 2x2 pocket card already cut. I just got lucky that the colors in it kind of worked with what I had going, so I used it. Then we were on to San Miguel Chapel, and they actually had this whole printout of history and information on it. I have selected to just leave it in the page protector because it's quite thin paper. It's very cheap copy paper. So I'm a little worried about how it would stand up over time if I just used an attacher and put it in there. So this one is going to live in the page protector. So once inside, we were at the top of the hour, and the man who was working inside said, hey, we have to ring the bell. Do you want to do it? So my friend was actually able to ring the bell that goes out across the square area for everyone to hear. So that was pretty cool. And then I just took some shots inside the chapel. It's very rustic in its style and quite old. And I love that. And so I didn't want a bunch of like crazy embellishments and stuff. I really liked the feel of that. So I left it mostly as is. I had a journaling card here, but I didn't do anything special there. And then on the right side, I just added a couple of phrase stickers. That's it. So moments captured, click repeat. And then I just got lucky that I had a pink card that matched pretty well with those flowers. So I used it. So once we were done with that, we decided we were going to go to another part of the town, and that's why I have another map in here. You can kind of see it says Santa Fe Plaza. So this is the area where we had spent the morning. In the afternoon, we were going to go out more to the Canyon Road area, which is right here. So I have both situated on these maps, which I'm happy about. I happen to have this card that says ¿Cómo estás? So a little Spanish in there, perfect. And then we were off to Canyon Road. And we saw a lot of art. That's mainly what's out there. Art galleries, and then some homes. So I have photos of both of those things. But we really spent most of our time looking at the art, which is awesome. So this was one of the first places we went. This was the Whifford Gallery, or Wyford. I'm not exactly sure how you say that. And we didn't actually end up going inside. We just explored the whole outside area because they had these huge sculptures. And actually, it goes on to this page as well. So you can kind of see the long view there. And for both of these layouts of this, I just tried to match the colors that were featured. So a lot of gray, brown, blue, dark green. So that's why I have these there. And then over here, I felt like this was kind of a little pop of color that I could maybe bring in. And so it's kind of in here. Well, then the card that I picked, because that was there, also had pink. So I thought, you know what, that's an opportunity to mix in something else. And I just happened to have this ephemera piece, and I thought that worked really well. And then over here, these are just more galleries and murals that are painted on the sides of buildings out there. I loved this one. And so I just tried to match the colors that were already in here, pick a card and an embellishment. So the card came with this already in the white space. And then I filled in with this piece of ephemera. It's a 2-inch digital element that I have that I just printed and cut out or punched out. And then I did allow myself a little acrylic piece here in this plus sign because it was sparkly, pink and sparkly, and I thought it would work well with here. And now this next layout was more of the homes that we saw that were kind of interspersed between the galleries. And I just love the very like weathered, rustic feel of everything in the Adobe homes. I love Adobe homes anyway. I find them beautiful. So I got a couple of fun pictures of those. And then I happened to have this card that matched really well with the more kind of teal tones. So I used that. Blank label, did a small amount of journaling. And then I just got lucky that I had this one piece of wood veneer left from this set. And I thought, well, why not use it? Because the white just pops against these colors, but yet you can still see everything, that beautiful weathered look of the wood there. So this is one of my favorite layouts, I think, mostly for this side, but I do really like the way it turned out. So then again, we were just exploring around the area. I saw these mailboxes all painted and lined up, and I thought they were gorgeous. So I took a picture, and it worked out to enlarge it to 4x8. So that was fun. And then here we were heading back to the city then, more towards the square again, and we happened to walk into this courtyard, and they had some stuff done up for the holiday. And I had a really cool acetate background piece that Robin gave me, and so I thought, here's an opportunity to use that. I've got white in there, it's a perfect background, but it's subtle enough it doesn't detract from everything else, so why not use it? And then I also got to use 2 cork embellishments. I don't have a lot of those or get to use them a lot, so I loved that I could use them here. So after we were done walking around there too, it was getting towards dinner time, and we knew that like we needed to head back to where the restaurants were around the plaza, because there was an event happening that night, and we had heard like if you want to watch it in the square, you need to go to one of the restaurants lining the square and get there early so that you have a seat so you can see everything unobstructed. So we were walking back that way, and there's a very cool stairway there, very Southwest looking, and if you see one like that, you have to take a photo, right? It would be criminal, I think, to walk by and not do it. So got a selfie, or had Robin take a picture of me there. So I have that, and then here we are. We went to the Thunderbird that night, and because we had had a pretty good sized lunch, like we didn't eat a ton, we thought, okay, you know what, we'll just do drinks, and then we'll have some chips and salsa and guac. And so that's what we did. And here, just to kind of cut down on how many photos I was going to have, I did a collage, a 4x6 collage. That worked out really well because it showcases what we were eating and drinking, that we're getting ready for the event to kind of start. So it worked out well to do that. And over here, our waiter took a picture of us, which was wonderful. We appreciated that. While we're just sitting there waiting for the sun to get lower in the sky. And, you know, this was December, so like by 5 o'clock it was pretty dark. I think this started at 5:30. If I remember right, 5:30, 5:45, something like that. But this is Las Posadas, which they do every year at Christmas time. It's a holiday tradition for them, and the people come out and walk the streets for it, so you can see that happening here. And it was just really fun to kind of watch the processional. Everything was lit up and decorated for Christmas, so it was a fun evening and super easy to put together. Just some background paper, a little bit of journaling, chipboard sticker here, this sticker here. Not a lot to it. And after that, we stayed quite a while. After that, we just went back to our room and just like chilled for the evening. We had done so much walking, and I'm gonna be honest, my back was really hurting at the end of this day. So we just took it easy for the evening in our hotel, and that was totally fine. So that's the end of this one, and then you'll have day 3 to come. So I hope you'll come back and join me for that. Thanks for watching.